What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Peralta. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. We are back every single morning right here on BettingPros.com, wherever you get your podcasts on YouTube, all being brought to you by BetMGM, and that offer right above me, BetMGM, $20, $100 to win any event. Doesn't matter the outcome. You win $100 in free wagers when you use that promo code JUICE100 at BetMGM, BetMGM.com. Use it and give us some credit for you guys listening to the Daily Juice. All right, so a 3-1 night last night. Funky day. And I mean funky. So I lost if you guys were on the Discord channel chat, the Stages chat, we had about, I think, 75 people that were in there. It was good to get the conversation going, and it was fun to talk to you guys. We got a bunch of options, bunch of bets, including a couple of you guys actually turned me on to. And I decided to jump in today for the first time for Cold Brewster's bet on the Pirates to score in the first inning. Yes, scoring in the first inning, even money, Dodgers-Pirates. A guy hit a home run in the first inning and missed first base. That's how I lost that bet. So I was a little concerned about the night. Going into the night, I came out of the gym, looked at my phone, and all I saw was just madness. Everyone was asking, Matt, did you see that? Did you see what just happened in the Pirates game? And I couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it. One of the worst and weirdest beats I've ever had. So I was prepared for a really bad night. And then things kind of changed a little bit. But Marc-Andre Fleury let in an awful goal at the end of the first period with 0.8 seconds left, and I was like, uh-oh, this could get bad. And then things started to change. Tampa wins. Moneyline bet, minus 120. Cash that. Then Philly, they cover, -5. Got that, minus 110. Then Vegas at plus 130 in overtime. I called Mark Stone, by the way, to score the game-winning goal. It happened. Mark Stone scores. Vegas wins. Hell of a game. More on that here in a second. And then the Jazz. The Jazz are up by 10. Donovan Mitchell now up by 6. Donovan Mitchell throws the ball into the bench. And I went, oh no. I can see it right now. The hook. The hook is coming. It was right there. Everyone saw it coming. And then Paul George, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, hits a 3. And then on the other end, a shot no good for Donovan Mitchell. Other end, three-pointer does not go. Marcus Morris gets blocked by Rudy Gobert. Game over. 3-point win for the Utah Jazz. We laid 3.5. Numbers matter. And that hook, the hook got us. So if you were on 4, 3.5, maybe you got it at 3. Maybe you got it at 2.5. Maybe you came in late after all the steam came in, after the news that Mike Conley was not going to play, and maybe you got a better number than me. And I hope so, because if so, you went 4-0. I went 3-1. I'll take it because I had both unders for Tampa and Carolina and Vegas and Colorado Avalanche. So a couple of personal plays going on that. So I went 2-1 on my personal plays. I go 3-1 on the podcast. So overall for me, it's a 5-1 day. So I will take that every darn day. Good night. Good night in the podcast. Good couple of days here we've been rolling with. So I like it a lot. So good stuff there. And, you know, it's a night that was completely and totally entertaining on the Discord channel. If you guys weren't watching the Vegas Golden Knights game with us as your second screen in the Discord, what are you doing? Like, we're having so much fun. I mean, just forget about, the live wagering and whatnot. Just having really a ton of fun watching and talking. And, I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury, how about that? He gives up maybe the worst goal of his career in a playoff game in a huge moment, a shot that never should have gone in with 0.8 seconds to go in the first period. 2-2 hockey series. And the dude just stood on his head for the rest of the game, basically. Gave up one other goal. But Vegas just kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. And if you're Colorado, here's the thing with the Avalanche. So game 1, Vegas punted. They gave that game because they started Robin Lehner and everybody knew it. They were tired and they just punted. So it was a 7-1 loss. Game 2, is won by Colorado on a complete garbage slashing call that gave a power play to Colorado in overtime. They win that game 3-2, but that was a coin flip. Could have gone any way. Game 3, Vegas outplays Colorado. They win the game. Game 4 is a blowout. Game 5, Vegas wins in overtime, and really they outplayed in periods 1, 3, and overtime. Totally outplayed Colorado. Period 2 was all Avalanche, and they just couldn't score enough. They scored 1 goal, 2-0. Colorado, for whatever reason, they think that they are the better team and they don't have to go and beat the Golden Knights. They let up. They start gripping. They start playing scared. And there's some great players. I mean, McKinnon and Makar are just unbelievable talents, and Grubauer is the reason why it's 3-2 and not the series being over. But if you're Colorado, you're going to Vegas, you have lost both games in Vegas, and you feel like you're going to win Game 6? Ooh, I don't know. So we've got that bet on Vegas to win the series at plus 165. We've got that bet on Vegas to win the Stanley Cup at plus 550. I mean, we've got a lot going on Vegas here and a chance to potentially cash some really nice wagers for us. And, I mean, they're not big bets, but, I mean, half a unit and a quarter unit, but still, I mean, it's really nice plus money, and we'll definitely take it if we're able to cash this. And, I mean, Vegas right now, if they get past Colorado in 6, I told you they have an easier time with Colorado than they would with Minnesota. Now, the series could go 7, could go the same distance, but I just thought Vegas matched up better. And they were able to give up a game and still be at worst in a Game 7 with Colorado. Think about that. Now, they'll be on the road. It would be tough. Vegas is going to really want to close that series out. It's not going to be easy by any means to knock out Colorado. That Golden Knights crowd's going to really be needed. But like I mentioned way back when we bet the Cup win for Vegas, beating Vegas in Vegas during the postseason with a full house is going to be really, really hard for anyone to try and do it. The Avs can do it. They can. Don't know if they're going to. Obviously, we'll have more on that game coming up later in the podcast, later in the week on Thursday for the Daily Juice podcast as everything shifts back here to Las Vegas. Okay, so it's Discord bet day, guys. You guys have voted, and you have selected the over 222 for Phoenix and the Denver Nuggets. I saw a couple of projections from some of the websites I like to look at for projections as to like what they think will be the total. 225.5 is the projected total by most. There are 2 different websites I was looking at, and they both had 225.5. So I think we're good here, betting the over 222. The first move, it opened at 222.5. It's come down to 222. Typical sharp money coming in to lower because of, it's playoff basketball and they'll slow it down. I don't think they'll slow it down, and I think we'll see a lot of offense. So I like this bet. You guys voted on this. I like it. You guys came in here over 222. You got a better number than what was voted on. The pick was 222.5. The numbers come down. I got 222. So the official play is over for Denver and the Phoenix Suns. Same bet we made in Game 1. Same bet coming back in Game 2. We told you about how good Phoenix is at home. Phoenix is really, really good against the spread. Phoenix is really, really tough to stop. And I just think Phoenix is the better team here. They're really playing well. I think they'll score a bunch of points. 222 over 222. The over, by the way, is 21-8 in the Nuggets' last 29 games following a loss. So that's good news for us with that. Here is the second play on this game. I'm laying the 6 points with the Phoenix Suns. The reason is, I think if you get DeAndre Ayton to play this well, I don't think he'll score 20 and 10 again. But if you just can limit the Joker, don't let him go for 40. Just get out there and defend him and rebound. If you can have him out there rebounding, man, I think this could be a quick series. Phoenix is playing really well. Chris Paul looks really healthy. You're asking Austin Rivers and Michael Porter Jr. to do way too much here on the road with this rocking, amazing Phoenix atmosphere. Denver is going to have to go home, regroup, and try to win Game 3. I don't think this is going to be close. I think Phoenix, again, comes out and plays really well. I'm laying the 6 points with the Suns here. Suns -6 at home against Denver. And then I think we all go back. I mean, look, Joker just got named the MVP. I totally understand what he's capable of, and he may be able to come out and score a ton of points here. But looking at Phoenix at home and looking at how well they play, that crowd is a big deal to me. It's so exciting. It's so loud. It's going to be really, really tough, I think, for Phoenix. At home this year, Phoenix 26-14 against the spread, 47-30-2 overall. Denver on the road, 20-20. Phoenix has covered their last 4 games against the spread. We're laying the 6 points here. Phoenix -6 at home against Denver. So over 222. Phoenix -6 are the 2 plays going into Denver. And Phoenix, which is fine, a full unit going with a full crowd. I have no problem with that. I like it for Denver and Phoenix. Okay, so Discord bet over 222. Suns -6. You guys really tried hard to have me bet the Islanders to win the game tonight at home against the Boston Bruins. I'm not picking a side in this game. You know what I'm thinking. You know what I want. I'm not going to lay the juice here, but I am going to lay the juice on the total. So when you look at this series so far, the games in New York have been much different than the games in Boston. So the games in Boston, 5-2, 4-3. Games 1, Game 2. Game number 5, 5-4. In Boston, they have been wide open. In New York, they've been tight, 2-1. And really, with 2 empty net goals, you can kind of make the case that even Game 4 was 2-1. That's where the Islanders were with 2-1. But because of the scoring we've seen, we get kind of a break here at 5.5 with the total. I wouldn't be surprised if the total closed at 5, but I'm going to take the under 5.5 here with a 3-2 win for one of these 2 teams, either Boston or New York. I think it's a coin flip. I do. I think there's value on the Islanders because they're at home and they're getting plus money. So I don't hate it. It's -130 for Boston. If you want to come back and tell me the Islanders are the better play, fine. I'm just not going to bet against my team here with their backs against the wall, and I'm going to hope that Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron and Pasta and Krejci and all these veterans for the Bruins who have been through the wars have another one in them. Have another come-from-behind, comeback type of victory, and that they, with their backs against the wall, really play well. But I can't see the Islanders playing a wide-open style, not in New York, not with the last line change. I think you're going to see typical Barry Trotz hockey here. Grind it, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 type of hockey game. I'll go under. It's heavily juiced at -145. Half a unit. I'll bet it. I'm not going to bet a side. You guys recommended the Bruins -138 and the Islanders at +118. I'm not picking a side. I'll cheer for the Bruins and cheer for a tight 2-0 victory for Boston. We're going under 5.5 goals for the Bruins and the Islanders here tonight in game number 6. I just think when you look at the 2 games being played in New York, 2-1, 4-1, both go under, even with the 2 empty net goals. It went under. I think it's going to be a very similar tight hockey game, low scoring, grinder of a game. Hopefully the Bruins win, but I could definitely see the Islanders winning. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Islanders can't win. The Islanders can absolutely 100% win. It's going to be a tight one for the Boston Bruins. And finally, we have got one game to get to in Major League Baseball. And this actually comes from you guys in your recommendations. I thought about betting the Red Sox, and I'll probably have a personal play on the Red Sox, who are -130 against the Astros. Red Sox are 1-4 this year against the Astros, or 1-4. They lost 7-1 last night at home. They bounced back with Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Jake Odorizzi pitches for the Houston Astros. He's trash. I may have a first 5 play, but I would look at that Red Sox game for sure. Eovaldi's pitching pretty well. He's 7-2 with a 3.78 ERA. Astros can score, but Jake Odorizzi 0-3 with a 7.16 ERA. He has not been good for the Houston Astros. Astros, though, can hit, and they've been scoring a lot of runs. They've won 2 games in a row. Good series. I'm going to take Boston, but instead, we're going to look at the Cubs and the Padres. Padres lost 7-1 last night to the Cubs. Here comes Yu Darvish. This was pointed out by one of our listeners in the Discord channel stage conversation, saying, okay, it's Yu Darvish pitching against his former club And I think it's a good thing that the Padres lost last night and only scored 1 run, because I think you're going to see a kind of a frustrated situation. And yeah, you are going up against Jake Arrieta. And there was some conversations about, like, okay, how big of a deal is that? Jake Arrieta is 5-6 with a 5.26 ERA. This is not the same Jake Arrieta that we have seen. They've activated him. This would be his first start coming off here. And against the Padres on the road, against Yu Darvish, this is asking a lot. I think the run line is awesome value. Even money, Padres on the run line, Jake Arrieta against Yu Darvish, Padres bats to come to life, and hopefully score a bunch of runs here against Chicago. I also really like that it's a day game. It's a 1:10 Pacific time start, 4:10 Eastern time start. That's good news. I like day games in San Diego because at night, in June, it does get cool on the water, and that marine layer does come in. So you will see at times, night games not have the ball doesn't travel as far, and they aren't scoring as much. So it is difficult. Run line bets when you're betting on the home team is sometimes difficult because you don't get the full 9 innings. They're 3-2, they don't bat in the 9th inning. So that's a little bit of a scare when you're betting home team run lines. But I like this bet. I like Yu Darvish. I like that it's Arrieta coming off the DL, and I like the Padres to win here on the run line, even money, -1.5 here for today. All right. So 4 plays for you guys coming up here. The Discord bet, like I mentioned, Nuggets and the Suns over 222. My 3 bets: Suns -6 in that game against the Nuggets, under 5.5 goals for the Bruins and the Islanders at -145. And Padres run line on even money coming up here tonight for their game, or today, day game, against the Cubs with Yu Darvish against Jake Arrieta. So those are the 4 plays. I will have player props, either baseball or I will have NBA player props going back today. Only one NBA game, but because I like the over, I think we can find a prop or two that we're going to like. So, and we just had a good day, so I'll come back with some props later on today, most likely. So be watching for that. Actually, you know what? No, I won't have player props. I'm playing golf tomorrow with one of the owners from BettingPros. Again, remember the last time I played golf with one of the owners? Nah, can't do that. We won't do player props. I'm on the golf course all day tomorrow. I forgot about that. I'm playing golf tomorrow, so no player props. So I won't be doing player props. So I'm glad I gave you 4 picks then, okay? There we go. 4 picks, good enough, right? Gave you 4 plays. Suns -6, Nuggets over 222, under 145 Bruins Islanders, Padres run line even money. Those are the picks. I'm Matt Perrault. Back tomorrow here for another edition of the Daily Juice Podcast right here on BettingPros.com, brought to you by BetMGM.